We're live from the Enrico Sports and Events Center in Richmond, Virginia, and it's the Division III Finals. But before we keep going on, we're going to take a quick break before the national anthem. Welcome everybody to the Division III Championship game here in the Enrico Sports and Events Center in Richmond, Virginia. Alongside me is NWBA Collegiate Hall of Famer Curtis Lease. My name is Max Cates, welcoming all of you on air. The number 2 ranked team, the Shepherd Steelers, are looking to grab glory for their first NWBA championship here in this 3rd division. They'll be starting off with Poochie Watts, Corey Butler, Marvin Williams, Khalil Harriet, and David Snowden. That's the starting 5 for Gavin Cloy. While the number 9 ranked team, Texas Outlaws, player coach Tyler Malone has slotted himself into the starting lineup. Mark Ramirez is with him, together with Florinita Owen Horsley, and Sidney Durr. And that's the starting five for the team out of Weatherford, Texas.
Should be a good game. I know Shepard Squeak went out in the first round, and then Cruz the second two, and then the Outlaws kind of came out of nowhere and shocked #1 Cleveland in the second round, and made their way all the way to the championship.
Both in the quarters and the semis have been decided in a single-digit outcome, at most 2 possessions, where the Texas Outlaws, they beat the Cavs by 5 in the quarters and then beat the team that finished third in the third division, the Brooks Ballers, by 4 in a final score of 46-42. The Outlaws win the tip, and we are underway. Mark Ramirez failing to hit off the backboard.
Testing it early. I'm sure he'll get that going. Looks like that's a normal shot for him, so I expect to see some more outside from 15 there.
Yeah, he went into rhythm rather comfortably. As you normally know, teams wait a bit as Poochie Williams rolling to the basket, missing the layup.
Nice look. They got the streak out for Texas.
Florinita looking to reset, as this has been quite the journey for Texas. And it'll be Outlaws basketball. Our referees for today are Corey Piercy, Yusuf Saman, and Matt Schneider.
Good position in there, just not able to control that pass, but they get the lucky bounce, get the ball back.
It will be 15 seconds left on the shot clock for the Outlaws. Second bank shot missed by Ramirez. Offensive rebound goes to the Outlaws. Tyler Malone has it with a fresh shot clock.
It's another good look.
Ramirez with the southpaw shot and puts it in. The Outlaws crashing the boards and are getting it started.
As I say, it looks like he is definitely the centerpiece of their offense. Looks like it really goes through him.
He's taken every single field goal for the Outlaws here in this opening stretch in the first quarter. Ramirez with the interception, and it falls right into the hands of Poochie Watts.
Those are tough sometimes. Even they tried to dump it in. He was there, so a nice defensive play, but it went, went right to Watts and put it in.
A diving steal for the team out of Atlanta, the Steelers. Excellent hustle play by Khalil Harriet.
Yeah, so what they call there, if the person's got the ball and it goes on the floor, it's called a floor violation, and Texas will get the ball.
Both of these teams hunting for their first ever Division III championship. The Outlaws swing it to the weak side, and that is nothing but pure Owen Horsley for 2.
Nice shot there by the young Mr. Horsley.
He's got that Owen Wilson mullet rocking as well.
I believe he plays on the Dallas Mavericks junior team.
I do remember, that name does ring a bell, as Corey Butler answers immediately for the Steelers. Ramirez loses the handle. Steelers basketball.
Looks like he was looking for somebody, looking for an outlet there. Didn't have it, and nice hands by the Steelers player.
This Texas Outlaws team has been quite on a Cinderella run, to say the least. You're the number 9 ranked team in the 3rd division. You're now against the 2nd ranked team, the Shepherd Steelers, defeating the number 1 ranked Cleveland team en route to the championship. Turnover committed by the Outlaws. Atlanta has it.
So Shepherd just does a good job on their fundamentals, good spacing. They play the passing lanes very well, and that's the reason they got the 2 seed all season long, and that they're here in the championship game also.
Shot missed by Snowden. The Outlaws look to push. A beautiful pass, and the finish just rolls in for Owen Horsley.
Gets the drop.
But what a pass by number 24, Florin Nida. That was a beauty.
A lot of art of the bounce pass.
It just looks extra nice once you see it just cross half court and with that pinpoint accuracy as Watts tightly covered by Ramirez. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Owen Horsley picks it up for the Outlaws, and a blocking foul will be called.
That was good help from Horsley because Ramirez had got himself out of position there and on the cut, but Horsley was there for the help and got the steal. Not only the steal, but the steal and the foul.
So Pucci Watts called for his first personal, team's first. 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Outlaws with a 2-point lead. Owen Horsley has been leading the charge with 4, Mark Ramirez with 2. Here's Ramirez to Horsley. Count it and the foul.
Nice give and go. Horsley's there right there for that little shot right below the free throw line and got the contact, but concentration, put it in.
Back-to-back fouls for the Steelers. Corey Butler committing the shooting foul. And Owen Horsley finishing after the chair-on-chair contact, and he'll look to get 3 points the hard way. Rattles in with the shooter's touch. Horsley with a tremendous start. 7 out of the Outlaws' 9 points as we're approaching halfway through the first quarter.
Right, Outlaws doing a good job with spacing and keeping them pushed out. Nice help there on the defensive end.
Nida reading the passing lane. Snowden picks it up for the Outlaws. He looks to push, waiting for his options.
You got Sidney Durr keeping the big men out, creating an advantage for Texas.
Momentarily 4-on-4. Nida and the foul. And when you need a bucket, he delivers.
Nice reverse layup there. Got a little bump from behind. And it looks like the Steelers are going to take a timeout here.
It's going to be a media timeout, so we'll be back after a short moment. Florinita with the reverse layup to give the Outlaws an 11-4 lead as we just approach the halfway point in the first quarter.
I expect Coach Cloy for Shepherd just to tell his team that they're making that extra pass, getting that extra look, and that's how they've gotten those last 2 buckets. And the defensively they've been out of position. That's why they've gotten the fouls on the shots.
Nita missing the free throw, and we're back underway. The Steelers have seemed troubled on offense to start off this first quarter, but it's really the pressure we've been seeing from the Outlaws on the passing lanes. And Marvin Williams is short.
Had the size mismatch right there, but just wasn't able to get enough on it to get it in.
I think getting enough arc is one of the more difficult things to do when you're a wheelchair basketball player. Because sometimes you're moving when you're shooting, either forward, back, or to the side, and it's difficult to figure out as Owen Horsley on fire to start off the first quarter. 9 points out of the team's 13, and he wants that Division III championship.
Again, great spacing by Texas. They were able to, they filled the lanes, and they're just getting to the spots right now, and Shepherd's having a hard time stopping it.
Watts showed the follow through, couldn't get the bounce. And the Outlaws are pushing in transition behind the back by Ramirez. Extra feed, couldn't get the bucket to drop. It's Sidney Durr.
But again, a great look in there. They're getting back quicker and again filling the spaces, and then defensively they're keeping Shepherd to the outside. Shepherd's settling for outside shots most every possession. Nice steal from the Outlaws.
Yeah, Khalil Harriet couldn't catch the pass properly. The Shepherd Steelers intercept the pass, so the Outlaws will have possession.
Quick hands by Watts there, but once again, you know, the Outlaws had the 4-on-3 break. So that was a lucky break for Shepherd that he was able to get his hands on that ball and knock it out of bounds.
To win a game in the highest level, realizing that to push the ball and just trying to force the defense to react to you is always a way to go. And the 3-ball is good. Mark Ramirez from downtown has given the Outlaws a 16-4 lead, their largest of the game.
So he looked confident in his other shots that didn't go in, and that one, nothing but net.
The Steelers desperate for answers to get the ball in the basket.
Looks like you have a violation there. No, they're going to call a foul.
Tyler Malone reading the passing lane, but instead, player coach Tyler Malone called for his first personal, team's first. Ladarian Harris now checking in for the Steelers.
Hey, not a terrible foul there. You got it in. He's getting the position. That's the judgment call. He wasn't quite there in time, but again, making things extremely difficult for Shepherd right now.
Maybe Ladarian Harris will be the answer to the questions this Atlanta team is having. Beautiful ball movement, layups too strong by Snowden, but it'll still be Shepherd basketball.
Got the lucky bounce that time. They'll get another shot here.
And it's now just about capitalizing on the luck that's been given to you. That's what the Outlaws have been doing, but we haven't seen that from the Steelers as of late. 3 seconds on the shot clock. They have to put it up in time. It's a shot clock violation against the Steelers. The Outlaws locking them up as we're approaching 2.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
I think he actually got the shot off in time for that one, but it didn't hit rim, so therefore the shot clock keeps continuing. Had it hit the rim, it would have reset, and they would have got another chance at it.
I thought he didn't get it up in time, but maybe my ears are wrong. Maybe I should get them checked out. Horsley in tight coverage, swiped away by Harriet, couldn't save it in time. But Harriet has been really active on the defensive end.
I say the effort is definitely there.
You gotta control the controllables in many ways, often than not, to give yourself a fighting chance. And the ball will eventually find its way as Horsley missing with the left-handed polo.
Harris with the rebound there, kicked it out, and Shepherd will attack. But you can see they're slowing down, and Texas is back. Texas is back and ready for him.
Missing from the left wing is Snowden. This Outlaws defense denying everything in the middle of the floor.
And now they got one out. Well, they had one out. And now be a charge.
Charging violation called against Mark Ramirez. His first personal, second team foul against the Outlaws. So the Outlaws, second team foul. The Steelers with 3 teams foul. Neither of the starters for the Atlanta-based team in foul trouble. David Snowden with 1, Corey Butler with 1, and Poochie Watts with 1.
Once again, excellent defense by Texas, forcing him out.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Difficult shot taken by Harriet, well defended by Mark Ramirez.
There's a 5-on-4 break for Texas.
And when luck is on your side, the Outlaws will look to take it as Horsley will go to the line.
See on that one, Harriet on the effort, but he fell over in his chair, so they get a 5. They don't stop the game unless you're in danger, and he wasn't in danger in that case, so they let him play on.
As a timeout will be called for the Outlaws. 12-point lead, 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. The team from Texas hunting for their first Division III championship. NWBA Championship Basketball brought to you by Performax. The Texas Outlaws, the number 9 ranked team in the 3rd division, giving the number 2 ranked Shepherd Steelers the business on both offense and defense. And now the Outlaws have a chance to increase their largest lead of the game. Owen Horsley, 9 points here in the first quarter. A fantastic start from also an elite junior level basketball player, as he now sits in double figures, and we have a minute remaining in the first quarter.
Horsley and Ramirez have really controlled this game for the Outlaws, and also they've controlled Texas.
Curtis, you have been a coach for a long time. You've been around this sport for a long time. How do you try and stop a two-headed monster like what the Outlaws have? Shot missed by the Steelers. They get the offensive rebound.
You gotta prioritize. You're gonna jump out. Keep your best defender on. Ramirez and Horsley, and make somebody else. Make somebody else beat you, because those two are definitely, again, leading scorers. And a 2-on-1 now. Again, the Outlaws are just outplaying them right now.
Nida will take it all the way himself. Florin Nida with the bucket. 19-4 Outlaws lead. 7 seconds remaining in the first. 3 seconds remaining. Here's Butler as he gets fouled on the three-pointer. A late whistle by referee Matt Schneider was right behind all the action.
Yeah, that is a silly foul. And that's his second after that charge. I mean, that's just not a smart play. I mean, that's going to be a really, really, really tough shot. That's one of those you just got to. I mean, you're winning by 15 points right now. You just got to let that go.
You got to think about the odds of making the three ball under such duress with the distance that it's taken as well.
Well, again, and it's his second foul too, so he's put himself. That's one of those towards the end. There's always going to be some you disagree with. So that was one that was just, he didn't need it. Now he's got 2 fouls, and the coach is going to have to think about keeping him on the floor.
That's a risk you really have to figure out dealing with. Butler misses the first 2 free throws.
Again, the biggest thing here is not even the score, because they get 1 point out of it, but again, more importantly, he's picked up a second foul in the first quarter.
First quarter, over 19-5 Outlaws lead. We'll be back at the start of the second. NWBA Division III action brought to you by Performax. We're here in the Henrico Sports and Events Center in Richmond, Virginia, looking to crown a new Division III champion. Will it be the number 9 Texas Outlaws out of Weatherford, Texas, or the number 2 ranked Shepherd Steelers out of Atlanta, Georgia?
See, Shepherd definitely has to get on a little run here, make something happen, because like I said, they're settling for outside shots only, and now again, ball handled, nice defensive play there by Horsley.
They keep putting on the clamps on the Steelers, who have 5 points after the end of the first.
That is definitely not the way Coach Cloy wanted to start out the second quarter.
Normally when you go for that first bucket, that first possession after a timeout or a half, as the ball movement by the Outlaws couldn't reign supreme, you set the tone with an early make.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like I said, nice ball movement there. Just Ramirez wasn't able to finish.
Pucci the feed. And the foul will be called on the floor. Owen Horsley, his first personal.
There again, you get the ball inside, force Texas to make a defensive play, and that time they got the foul called. They need to keep doing that. Try to work it inside more.
That shot just rattles out by Pucci Watts. You spoke to me and you alluded towards the end of the first quarter is that Mark Ramirez has 2 personal fouls in the end of the first, and a 3-second violation will be called against the Outlaws. And this is something that the Steelers should try and use to their advantage.
I would definitely try to work the ball on his side and see if he's a little hesitant to make a play, or if he lets one go, so to not pick up the 3rd foul, or if he plays aggressive and maybe picks up that 3rd foul. You can see there right there, Ramirez had his hand there, but he's playing very, very shyly, reaching for the ball that time.
Marvin Williams off the putback cuts the Outlaws lead down to 12.
Again, working inside. When it's not falling from the outside, you gotta try it up, mix it up, do something different.
Ramirez will take, rattles in and out. Rebound taken by the Outlaws, back to Ramirez.
The Steelers forced the outside shot, could not corral the rebound, and then they lost Ramirez, and he was able to put it right back in.
And the foul will be going against the Outlaws. Owen Horsley, his 2nd personal. Now team 2nd. Now what do you do when you're the Outlaws? Both of your leading scorers in early foul trouble. If you're the Steelers, how do you try and attack either both at the same time or get one of them to commit their 3rd?
I mean, you're kind of doing what Bucci's doing right now. Take the ball. Horsley made the switch over, but he's taking it at him. Again, force them to make a decision.
Corey Butler off the bank shot sits at 5 points.
A nice shot there. They didn't jump. Again, maybe not being as aggressive. on the defensive end, but again, they've got a 4-on-3 breaker.
What a pass by Ramirez. Nita, reverse, and one. Florin Nita with a beauty as he looks to go to the line for the second time today.
I think he's practiced that reverse a couple times. That's a nice shot right there.
An absolute circus shot, a difficult angle, and Florin Nita, a wizard with the basketball, will look to give the Outlaws a 15-point lead.
Nothing but net. Very nice shot there. But again, that was all settled. Texas pushing back a little quicker, had that 4-on-3 break, and that gave them, and then Texas did a great job filling the lanes, and that's how they got the layup chance on that one.
Nice pick and roll by the Steelers. Couldn't score it. Nice defensive recovery by Harriet.
Nice.
And they find Marvin Williams parked under the rim.
Nice little touch pass there by David Snowden, more like a set from volleyball, but he popped it right to his big man, and big man was able to put it in the layup.
Nita looking for options. Swings it down low, missed by Durr.
That was a great pick and roll, just wasn't able to finish it.
I like the patience that they did as well on that play.
The shot selection has been excellent by Texas so far this game. Snowden with another pass.
The ball movement has been excellent for the Steelers in the second quarter, yet they still struggle to score as Ramirez leaks it on the left side.
Better job that time of Shepard getting back and matching up defensively.
Horsley, pass is tipped by Butler. Play is alive. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Horsley will take. Got nothing but the basket. Shot clock violation.
Much better defense there too. Like Horsley tried to dump it in, and nice hands. They kicked it out. They were able to deflect it out, make them use that shot clock, and not let their their 1-2 punch get a shot off in that situation.
That's been one of the better defensive possessions we've seen from the Steelers here in the opening half. Snowden, excellent pass down low, and the freebie for Harriet.
David's got very good court. David's got very good court vision. That was about the third nice dump he's seen into the post, and that they were able to capitalize.
Steelers cutting the Outlaws' lead down to 11. Ramirez gets fouled on the shot. He'll go to the line.
I think he was not in a good position to defend the ball, and he kind of just threw his arms up out there as he pushed into him, threw his arms up. Not a very good chair position, and that's going to get a foul called 99 times out of 100.
Khalil Harriet called for the foul, and now it's official that all 5 starters for the Steelers have committed one personal foul. Ramirez knocking down the first free throw.
That's well balanced.
Couldn't get the shooter's touch. 25-13 is your score halfway through the second. Both teams hunting for their first ever Division III national championship. As that was an errant pass by Snowden, tried to find the cutting Butler, but it was a little bit too far.
I think he thought he was going to cut in a little bit more. I think he saw something that Butler didn't, and you got to be on the same page on that one.
Quick media timeout. We'll be back halfway through the second.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Formax is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and out of a chair or your weapon, you know, you're unstoppable.
Outlaws by 12, halfway through the second quarter. Owen Horsley with a phenomenal start to his first half with 10 points, and Mark Ramirez as well, putting it on his offensive bag with 8 points. It's been a three-headed show, though, for the Outlaws as Florinita joins the party with 7.
I say Nita's been there when they've needed him.
He's knocked down those huge momentum-gaining plays, and speaking of gaining momentum, Nita with the 2, followed by the excellent Ramirez feed.
Again, we talked about it earlier, you know, you stop, you know, priorities. Now I expect some more defensive pressure on him and make 53 or 13 for the Outlaws beat you.
And the shooting woes continue from mid-range for the Steelers.
Steelers, yeah, the most success Steelers have had has been inside, but Texas does a very good job of like not allowing that to happen a lot.
Here's Ramirez. They swing it back to Horsley. In and out.
Good ball movement that time, just not able to finish. See if Shepard can cut this lead again. The big goal here would be to get it under 10 points by halftime.
Watts missing the 2-footer. Ramirez pushing on the left side. Ramirez, Horsley, bucket.
And again, Texas just getting back quicker, you know, filling the lanes and doing a good job with ball movement and seeing the open man, and Horsley capitalizes.
Owen Horsley alone has almost outscored the entire Steelers team. He sits at 12 with the Outlaws up 29-13. They're running a show and they're looking for that Division III championship. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Snowden missing, Horsley rebounding.
Again, great defense by the Outlaws.
And the Outlaws continue playing with this increased sense of urgency to just will their way into the bucket. And here you see the Ramirez pass and the Horsley finish. Ramirez will launch, fails to connect on his second 3-ball attempt.
So again, if you're Shepard, you need to get this. You got to get this within 10 points at halftime. That would be a big momentum. If not, that's gonna be an unhappy bench during halftime.
Florinita called for his first personal, now team's third. 6th total foul throughout the game. Now both of these teams are even at 6 apiece.
Horsley and Ramirez have both done nice jobs not picking up that 3rd foul here in the second quarter.
The bank is open for Marvin Williams with a difficult leaning shot.
Nice finish there by Williams, using his size, kissing it off the glass.
And when you alluded to Mark Ramirez and Owen Horsley not committing another foul, this is what head coach Tyler Malone definitely has spoken to among his teammates. Khalil Harriet, his second personal. Now the Steelers is 3rd here in the second.
Yeah, Ramirez just did a good job getting position in there, and Harriet was a little late to react.
Almost committed a 5-second violation. Malone off the handoff.
You got to jump out. You got to jump out on there. Nice dump.
Ramirez faking the shot, went for the pass to Durr, and she still fails to register her first field goal.
I mean, again, it's a great pick and roll, but if you're Shepherd, you know, I'm taking that shot over letting Ramirez get in there again.
A wide open two missed by Watts.
That's
the
tough.
Outlaws looking to push.
Tough.
Nita with the left missing. Horsley with the rebound hitting. And Owen Horsley on fire here in the first half. A minute and a half remaining. The Outlaws with their largest lead of the game at 16.
Great position there by Horsley to get the missed shot and get the putback opportunity.
Three-second violation going against the Steelers, and it's gone from bad to worse on the offensive side of the ball.
At that time, Texas did a good job just trapping him in there and wasn't able to free himself to get out of to avoid the 3-second violation.
This Texas team are moving the ball so incredibly well, but one thing I love to point out is that their stamina is terrific.
Yeah, they've had no subs. Shepherd's had one.
Ramirez with a kiss off the back rim puts it in. 33-15 is your score. The Outlaws hunting for the Division III National Championship.
Yeah, so you got to stop his chair on that one. You saw a lot of hands up, and he was just able to roll right in and take the shot. But now he picks up his third.
Poochie Watts with the and one play. This is a big risk to take with Ramirez. Luckily, there's only 34 seconds remaining.
Yeah, again, just not in position. And once again, less than a minute, to pick up another foul. Sometimes you got to just let those. It's easy to say from the sideline, but sometimes you just got to let those go and see the bigger picture.
Christopher Parks checking in for reinforcement, just making sure Mark Ramirez does not concede his fourth foul. Then it would be extremely dangerous for the Outlaws to try and maintain their lead. Watts hits the free throw. 33-18 is your score before the end of the first half.
Christopher looks like he's got the size that Ramirez has, but not quite the speed. Able to swing it out to Horsley.
You take a shot taker, fails to make it. It's a look that Horsley has been comfortable with. 4 seconds remaining. Harriet with the follow through, but just hits the glass. The Outlaws with a 33-18 lead. Owen Horsley cooking here to start the third and fourth quarters. And we will be done with the first half. Alongside me is Curtis Lease. My name is Max Cates, and we will be back for the start of the second half.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now Formax is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
Welcome to the start of the second half in the adults division, Division 3. We're going to be looking at a champion coming up. Both teams looking for their first ring as the number 9 Texas Outlaws and the number 2 Shepherd Steelers are hunting after their first ever Division 3 championships. Curtis Lease alongside me. My name is Max Cates, welcoming all of you on air to Championship Sunday here in Richmond, Virginia. Owen Horsley on fire to start off the first half. He sits at double digits with 14 points, but he's also had some help with Mark Ramirez, as Mark Ramirez sits at double figures with 10.
I say, and Ramirez picked up his third foul there late in the first half, but he is back out on the court. I talked to Coach Coy for Shepherd, and he said that's definitely someone they want to attack. You know, if he's out there, they definitely want to attack it, see if they can get him to pick up his fourth. Main thing he said the main thing they weren't doing very well in the first half. They want to try to switch up his communication. And that's a good start.
Poochie Watts with a bucket on the first field goal attempted here in the third. Outlaws by 13.
You just got to chip away. You know, there is no 10-point basket, so you just got to chip away at it. And you know, anything that happens in one half, the reverse can happen in a second. But they've definitely got to pick it up.
And it all starts with stops on the defensive end. Ramirez missing on the deep two.
Nice outlet by Williams.
Just snagged by Tyler Malone.
Good hustle there by Malone to get back and get that ball.
Watts swats that one away, and here come the Steelers.
That's about his third or fourth. He's got quick hands, I've noticed. That's about his third or fourth ball he's able to knock out. That time they only get the possession.
Watts the feed, gets it back, tipped away by Malone. And it's a wide open David Snowden will take a little bit too strong.
Again, nice open look. Shepherd doing a better job getting back. Oh.
A high pass for Horsley by Ramirez.
I know that was one he saw the ball going up there, thought he could get it, but he ended up picking up his third foul.
No, Khalil Harriet, speaking of foul trouble, his third personal. Now the first team foul here in the third for the Steelers.
If I'm Shepherd, I'm going to make 13 Tyler Malone, or 15 or 53 Sidney Durr. I'm going to make them shoot the ball a little bit more and try to force the issue.
Ramirez found a cutting Nita for two, but there'll be no basket as it's a 3-second violation.
Yep. A little too long there in the key, and good thing Steelers catch a break. See, Outlaws putting the pressure on the outside.
You find Marvin Williams missing, well contested by Nita.
Well contested is kind of shooting a little bit of little cross body there on the shot.
Horsley the dish, down low to Ramirez. Fade away too strong. Rebound taken by the Steelers.
I mean, the little wins for the Steelers is Texas is not finished on their shots so far in the second half, but they're not able to capitalize.
Here comes Horsley. He has Ramirez to his left.
Ooh. Said Ramirez and Harriet both kind of jammed into each other there, but the refs left that as a no call. I'm sure they're both appreciative of that.
The Outlaws run the two-man game. It's Horsley to Ramirez, and still struggles early in the third, and there they get the bucket. Florian Nita sitting at double figures, but it really took some time for the Outlaws to finally get on the scoring column here in the third.
Well, the Outlaws benefit on that. The Steelers had both their big men, Harriet and Williams, were already on the back across half court, so they were not in there for a defensive or a rebounding position.
Outlaws by 15, a little bit less than 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. That shot is missed by Snowden.
I think Dave's looking at his own shot a little bit in disbelief. That's not something you see often from him.
The Outlaws offense has been doing their job, but their defense has been the main focal point.
And you're making them push a chair sometimes, you know. After fourth game of a tournament, your arms start to get a little rubbery. So you got to put a little bit extra on the shot.
Ramirez, the runner, missing. Snowden, the offensive rebound, and he'll go to the line. The Outlaws crashing the offensive glass and punishing this Steelers defense.
Yeah, Horsey right there, just good vision, and he's able to. Harry did not box out, and Horsey was able to get in there and get the rebound. That's what you say. You can, as a defensively, when the shot goes up, you can't just look at the ball and see where it goes. You got to make sure you're boxing your guy out as well.
And that's what Owen Horsley has really done well in just manipulating the space that he is given. You just see him just in between two defenders for that offensive rebound, and he is so fast on that chair.
Yeah, if you see the back of somebody's head, that means they're not looking at you, and you can kind of go wherever, you know, you can see the openings, and he's doing a very good job of that.
Nice feed down low. Here's Butler failing to convert. Ball's going out of bounds, and it's going to be a foul against Marvin Williams. Now his third personal, team's third, as we're soon approaching the media timeout with around a minute remaining before half.
Yeah, that one again, I think is a frustration foul. Got him on the arm.
10 total fouls for the Steelers, 7 for the Outlaws. This is a number 9 Texas Outlaws team from Weatherford, Texas. Only an hour and a half minute drive from Dallas.
Yeah, every year you get some team that kind of comes out of nowhere that people are, you know, not really expecting to be here. And that this year it's been the Texas Outlaws, relatively new team, but they're putting their stamp here on this weekend.
And Tyler Malone, the player, the head coach, the bucket. And that's going to be a timeout for the Shepherd Steelers. 39-20 is your score.
Yeah, nice job there, Tyler, finishing the layup. Again, you say, hey, you do your priorities, and this is their fourth or fifth option, but sometimes they're hitting their baskets too. That's tough. That's tough on the Steelers.
So the Steelers, you could say, has been playing a little bit better on the defensive side of the floor. They're playing with a little bit more sense of urgency here in the third quarter, but it's still all Outlaws basketball in terms of the hustle plays, the rebounding, the ball movement.
Yeah, just like you said there, they're just a little bit more complete package this game, and you know, the score is reflective of that.
Florinita and Owen Horsley in double figures, as well as Mark Ramirez with 10. And Tyler Malone just now getting the bucket for this Outlaws team. Those are the only 4 Outlaws scores. One important thing to note is that Mark Ramirez for the Outlaws has 3 personal fouls, as we're soon approaching the media timeout. 40 seconds remaining before that one. So this is going to be a quick 2 to 3 possessions before we eventually will have to take a timeout after the first dead ball after 5 minutes. Again. Alongside me, Curtis Lease. My name is Max Gates, welcoming all of you to NWBA action here in the Enrico Sports and Events Center in Richmond, Virginia.
Again, I know Coach Coy wants him to take the game to Ramirez and see if he can pick up that third foul. I talked to him at halftime. He's like, even if we pick up an offensive foul, I don't mind that. You know, be aggressive, make him make the play. Butler missed the layup on that one.
Ramirez to a cutting Horsley with the left hand.
Nice cut on the baseline there, and excellent finish.
18 points for Owen Horsley gives the Outlaws their largest lead of the game at 21.
Again, you got a man down for Shepherd, but they're not taking the ball over there.
Winner of this game advances to the second division next year as Poochie Watts gets the bucket, and that will be our media timeout. 4:52 remaining.
would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now Formax is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
NWBA action brought to you by Performax as we're looking to crown a winner here in the 3rd division. The Shepherd Steelers, the number 2 ranked team, struggling with 4:50 remaining in the 3rd.
Struggling would be an appropriate word here today.
The Outlaws just controlling every facet of the game. And you could kind of see the Steelers team having a little offensive lapse at times as Hernandez forces the push. Steelers get the rebound.
So yeah, there again, to me, like Ramirez was just able to, he didn't hit the shot, but he was able to get himself in a nice position. Shepard just kind of letting him float. Kind of key there's like stop the chair, make him pass it out, get it out of his hands.
4 starters, including Ladarian Harris, on the floor for the Steelers. Shot is up, off the back iron, offensive rebound, Butler.
Butler didn't feel he was in a good position to shoot it, so he kicked it back out. It was a smart play. Nice pass by Snowden again.
A beauty by Snowden. Harriet couldn't finish. And referee Youssef Saman will blow the whistle. It's timeout, Outlaws. 3:48 left. A 19-point Outlaws lead.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now Formax is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
(41-22) is your score. A little bit less than 4 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
So that was a smart play by Malone there. He was kind of not in a good position to get the ball out and get the ball moving, so call a timeout, able to reset, and now they're in their offense.
Ramirez spinning, dishing, Malone failing to hit.
Again, if you're Shepard, that's what you want to have happen. To put good pressure out there on Ramirez, swing it over to Malone, and they've got opportunity to cut in this lead, which they need to start doing 3 minutes here in the 3rd.
They're not playing as fast as the Outlaws, which means less possessions, and that's a start. Khalil Harriet with the bucket and the foul. Florianita, his 2nd personal. Only the Outlaws' 1st team foul with 3 minutes remaining in the 3rd.
Yeah, say Harriet needed that one. Good concentration. Nice and high off the glass, gets the touch.
Just on 3 defenders, but what a game we've seen from David Snowden passing the ball. He's made so many phenomenal reads, and it's just unfortunate that this Steelers team has just been failing to convert under the basket.
Yeah, David definitely got good core vision. That's his job, is to feed the post, and he's doing a very good job at that.
Nita with a beauty down low to Sidney Durr. And that now means all 5 of the starters for the Outlaws are now on the score sheet.
Again, I still say you take that over letting Ramirez get in, or Owen Horsley, cutting the lanes. Got to pick your poison, but that's definitely one that I would try.
Errant pass by the Steelers. It's going to be Outlaws basketball, and then also another good reason for why your more reserved scoring players, you know, eventually score the ball is that it limits the risk of your starters in foul trouble getting their third or fourth as we're in this stage of the game.
Yeah. Catch a break for the Steelers there. They gave the ball up, but they're going to get it right back. Turnovers here are getting contagious. But again, I think with Shepherd, your key is to try to, you know, chip away, chip away, chip away. See if you can get this within 10 points, and then you can make a strong push.
Hernandez intercepting it. Watts recovers.
Close there. Ramirez got to be careful.
And a 3-second violation will be called against the Steelers.
Yeah, Ramirez came pretty close there to picking up that forced foul.
Yeah, you could see that chair-on-chair contact, and it was right in front of referee Corey Piercy.
There's, you know, this is a good crew. You know, they're showing some discretion, letting them play. You know, as a coach and a player, the main thing you ask for is, you know, be consistent in how the game is called. If you call it tight both ways. If you let them play, let them play. And I think they've done a good job at that so far this game.
And sometimes when a referee misses a call or makes a call that's wrong, they normally know they have to cut the other team some slack at times and make the 50-50 into their favor a little bit, just to make it even on the balancing.
Not officially, yeah, but you do you do see that sometimes, I think.
We sometimes do see that.
Sometimes you get the makeup call. $18 points with a minute and a half to go here in the third. Shepherd needs to make a move.
Something cool that I learned about this tournament, the Tucson Lobos, the number 15 team in Division I, won the Division III championship last year.
Yeah, so a lot of, like, these two teams will both have to move up to Division II next year. Your top two teams in the division bump up the next year.
But the reason that the Tucson Lobos did not go to Division II, it's because they have multiple Paralympian players on their team.
That's right. Yeah, the bylaws, the rules, they got a couple of the Paralympic athletes on there. So, you know, NWBA tries to keep things a level playing field. You know, Division III's is you cannot have any Paralympic athlete because it's more of a you know, for players who've been playing a while or ones who are getting their start and trying to work their way up the ladder here in the game. Division II, you can have one Paralympic player. You can still get some competitive ball. And then Division I's the top guys.
Hernandez still struggling in the third. Durr gets the offensive rebound for the Outlaws. And Harriet wasn't in full possession. Ramirez with the miss.
I mean, again, Shepherd's, you know, getting the stops here. They're just not able to capitalize on the other side. Texas doing a great job defensively on their own, and Steelers have not been able to cut into this lead at all.
12-second difference between shot and game clock.
Nice defensive pressure there by Horsley.
Here's Harriet, will take and make.
Big shot there by Harriet. Not an easy shot, as Ramirez had contested it as well, but he's able to get that one to go.
16-point Outlaws lead. Here's Horsley. 5 seconds remaining. He'll take it with the left hand and miss. And that will be the end of the third quarter. A rather stale third quarter among both of these teams, but because of the strong Texas Outlaws have, they have a comfortable lead with 10 minutes heading left into the fourth quarter.
Yep, it's that strong first quarter, really. You know, second quarter, like, there's only a 1 point difference. I think this third quarter is only a 1 point difference, but they got off to such a strong start. They built that lead and they've been able to maintain it.
We'll be back, heading left into the start of the fourth quarter. Winner will win their first ever Division III National Championship.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now Formax is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of a chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
Outlaws 43, Steelers 27. 10 minutes remaining before we will crown a Division III champion. Owen Horsley leading the charge, scoring the basketball at a high clip.
Yeah, if you're the Outlaws, you just gotta maintain. You got a nice cushion. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. If you're Shepherd, it's now or never time.
Ramirez missing from the left side. Nita with an offensive rebound.
Again, the Shepherd guys they're watching the ball kick off and they're kind of rolling in a long rebound. They're not in a rebounding position.
As Geraldo Henry, right under the basket, fails to force it up. It's going to be Steelers basketball.
Look at Henry's giving Sidney Durr a break. Let's see if the Steelers can cut into this lead at all.
Intercepted by Rita, but it goes right into the hands of Khalil Harriet.
That time they got the bounce went their way and they were able to capitalize on it.
Joint leading score for the Steelers with 9. Poochie Watts also has the same number. Horsley wheeling, scoring, and he'll go to the line. 20 points for Owen Horsley, putting the team on his back on offense. Third.
You'll see on this, you see Poochie's was reaching at the top of the key and put himself out of position, and then Butler was just not able to get there in time, and Owen taking advantage of that, having a heck of a game here.
Second personal against Corey Butler, number 3. Horsley now with 21. First team foul here in the fourth quarter against the Steelers. Harriet failing to catch the pass. It was a rather hard one by Snowden.
Had a little hot sauce on that pass. But again, David's got the core vision, sees him in there, just not able to convert that time.
He's been making a lot of crucial passes. That's been finding the right spots. It's just that the Steelers haven't been able to score off of those passes. Well defended by Watts. Ball is still alive.
So again, quick hands that time. Better job in stopping his chair.
Horsley with a one-handed snatch and score.
That's a big man move right there. That's something you expect out of your big guys, and Horsley said, I'm big enough.
19-point Outlaws lead, and they can smell the championship. They're only a little bit over 8 minutes away. Nita pushing, Horsley finishing, bucket. Owen Horsley coming alive here in the fourth quarter.
The Outlaws now stretched to a 21-point lead, 8 minutes to go. You got to see some of the body language on the Steelers guys. These games are hard. These games are hard when you're in that position.
And especially when you've been playing as well as you have the entire tournament. These two are the top 2 teams as we're speaking here in the third division. Ladarian Harris checking out. Coming in is number 4, Marvin Williams.
You also have Sarah Maynard coming in for the Outlaws.
Number 22.
Which, Texas put themselves in a position where they can get some of their bench people some playing time and enjoy the moment.
Butler down low. Williams, too much on it.
Very nice pick and roll there by Butler and Williams. Williams just not able to finish.
Ramirez to Horsley.
It doesn't answer by a nice pick and roll by Shepard. Just not able to finish that one either. Nice defense, nice defensive job by Henry right there.
"13 seconds left on the shot clock for the Steelers. Harriet, too strong from the right block.
Again, a nice pass in there by Snowden, just not able to finish.
Yeah, he has pinpoint accuracy on those. It's going to be a quick timeout for the Shepherds. The Outlaws, a little bit less than 7 minutes away from winning the D3 championship.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
Outlaws are used to, having weapons in the military. Now Formax is our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand the ins and outs of your chair or your weapon, you're unstoppable.
Seven minutes remaining before we crown a new Division III NWBA champion, brought to you by Performax. Head coach Tyler Malone must be extremely happy with his team. Player coach Tyler Malone. The two-headed monster of Mark Ramirez and Owen Horsley been proving to be dangerous for this Steelers defense as they look to get a free point in transition.
And nice hands down there by Williams. Snowden able to put the bucket in for two.
Snowden, normally the playmaker, now scoring for his first field goal. Rita hitting the deck, eventually going up, but not before referee Matt Schneider blowing the whistle.
Yeah, so again, if the player's down and it's away from the action, they'll let the play continue. But that time, Horsley kind of brought the ball back over, allowing him to get up and reset.
Intercepted by Harriet. Basketball goes out of bounds, but now the Outlaws are in a little pressure situation. 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
Yes, if you're the Outlaws at this point in time, the clock is definitely your friend. You don't need to press it. You don't need to force the issue necessarily, but you still got to take care of the ball. Don't give Shepard's looking for any kind of hope right now. You can do it, and that's getting stops. And if they can convert here, it's going to keep their spirits up.
A three up and in. David Snowden, back-to-back buckets, cuts the Outlaws' lead down to 16.
But then again, Shepard keeping the fight. Outlaws just got to take care of the ball, use some clock. Making a substitution here. Michael Rowe coming in for Butler. His first action here today.
Great moment for him. He'll get some nice experience here in the final stages of the tournament.
Say Anita coming off and then pick up a foul.
Offensive foul against Geraldo Henry. His first personal, now team's first for the Outlaws.
That was a quick in and out there for Michael Rowe. sometimes, you know, the coach, if he just needs to get a message into a player that doesn't want to burn a timeout, do a quick sub, in and out, and then they'll back on the attack.
Harriet trying to find Williams down low. The Outlaws look to push. Here's Horsley, and here's Henry. Couldn't get the angle. Horsley on the offensive glass.
I mean, yeah, you know, if you're Shepherd, that's, you know, having Henry take the shot's probably the option that you want, but then you gotta box out, and it, you know, I've said this before. Horsley does such a good job at seeing those lanes, and, you know, putting himself in a good position to get that rebound.
He's always in the right position on these offensive rebounds.
Absolutely.
18-point Outlaws lead here in the Division III championship. Shot is missed by Butler.
Horsley and Ramirez both in there for the rebound. Ramirez comes out with it. Nice.
Maynard turning it over. No look feed. Snowden to Williams. Went a little bit too far under the basket.
And not quite able to get control of that. Put himself underneath the basket.
Tyler Malone finding Ramirez. Gets his own offensive rebound and scores his first field goal in the second half. 12 points for Mark Ramirez. Outlaws by 20.
So they cut it. So they cut it down to 16 again, but then again turnovers and not able to finish some easy buckets, and we're back to a 20-point lead.
A quick media timeout. We'll be back after a short moment. .20 Outlaws lead as we're approaching the end of the third division game between the number 2 ranked Shepherd Steelers and the number 9 ranked Texas Outlaws.
And I think if you look at the players on the court now, Coach Cloy's kind of has waved the white flag, you know, a lot of his bench players in there, and same looks like for the Outlaws. You still have Ramirez and Horsley out there, otherwise all non-starters.
Touch shot missed by Parks. Christopher Parks is on the floor. Nathan Smotherman is on the floor. Kennedy Patterson on the floor for the Outlaws, with the starters of Horsley and Ramirez, but the three is pure for the Steelers.
A nice shot there by Watts. And I said, if you're on the floor, you know, you're still playing. You're still going hard. But it's a great experience for, you know, some of the guys who don't get a whole lot of playing time to get in there and say they're part of this championship. Nice shot there by Bucci Watts.
A three is up just short by Ladarian Harris.
Less than 3 minutes to go here. Again, Outlaws will take their time, use the clock. Kind of stretch it out. See if they can get some of their bench players involved here.
Horsley finds Smotherman, who'll take. Misses from the right side. Rebound snatched by Ruth Morrison. The three is money for Poochie Watts. Back-to-back tray balls.
They just could have used they needed some of that earlier in the game here, but then he commits the foul.
Holding foul now called against Watts. His second personal, team's third.
You know, and you didn't see. I mean, he's got a good stroke there on the shot. Didn't see that early though from the outside.
Yeah, held the follow through nicely as well. He knew that one was going in.
And the steal by Shepard.
.150 remaining before we'll crown a Division III champion. Both teams have yet to win an NWBA championship as Christopher Parks fouls Poochie Watts, and he'll take 3 free throws.
There again, that's, you know, you just put a shot, make the defense, make a play. You know, three points here, it's an 11-point game. As a coach for the Outlaws, you know, you want to get everybody some playing time, but you don't want to lose sight of the main goal.
Watts misses the second one. Currently sits at 16 points of the game. One of 3, Parks the rebound. LaDarian Harris, his second personal, now team's 4th in the 4th quarter. The Steelers had 4 team fouls in the first quarter and 3 in the second and the third, so they've been lucky to not be in the bonus. And for reinforcements, Kennedy Patterson checking off, Geraldo Henry checking in.
So they're gonna think they're gonna foul there.
5th team foul now against the Steelers. Poochie Watts, 4th personal foul.
Say Christopher Parks going to the lines. Hadn't had a whole lot of I haven't seen him play a whole lot. We'll see how he does at the free throw line. But again, if you're Shepard, why not? So I would look for Watts to come down again. Look for that 3.
Misses both. Rebound taken by the Steelers. And Poochie Watts hit back-to-back threes and got fouled on his 3rd three-point attempt, in which he scored 1 free throw, and it's a 10-second violation in a crucial moment against the Steelers.
Yeah, just not paying enough attention to the clock there and got the 10-second violation. I don't think they're going to foul Ramirez. They probably wouldn't foul Horsley either. But at this point, if the ball goes into somebody else's hand, I imagine you might see the foul called.
Here's Henry. 3 seconds remaining on the shot clock. He'll take, he'll make. Nice. Geraldo Henry beating the buzzer, adds to the scoring party for the Outlaws. And that should do it, as your Outlaws are going to become your Division III champions.
Nice shot there by Henry. Gets his name in the book of the championship game. See the replay does a nice job setting himself up. Nice follow through, left his hand in the cookie jar, as they say.
Look at you teaching the art of shooting fundamentals.
I can teach it better than I can do it.
The Outlaws will just hold the basketball. 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
All the respect to that Texas Outlaw coming here as a 9 seed. Again, not knowing a whole lot about them myself, and they've come in and put their name on the Division III record books.
They beat the number 8 team, the Cap City Cardinals, in the first game. Upset the number 1 ranked Cleveland Wheelchair Cavaliers in the quarters. In the semis, they beat the Brooks Ballers, who wound up becoming the number 3 ranked team after today. And now they defeat the number 2 ranked Shepherd Steelers and are your 2025 NWBA champions in the 3rd division.
Great great tournament by Texas. They definitely, came in here, did their stuff, and it's not a cheap win. You're knocking off number 1, number 2. What else can you say? That's a complete tournament.
What a performance by the baller himself. Owen Horsley was cooking defenders in the junior tournament, and now the Division III Finals MVP. 27 points for number 43, and what a well-earned trophy it will be for him.
I think I see a golden ball in Horsley's future here pretty quickly.
And that will do it for the end of the Division III matchup between the Outlaws and the Shepherd Steelers. The trophy is going back to Weatherford, Texas for the first time in team's history. But don't leave yet. We have a Division II matchup coming on shortly.
Oh, a lot of basketball left, man.
A lot of basketball left. It's going to be the Cincinnati Dragons squaring off against, your own LWSRA Hawks. You don't want to miss this one. And then we have the Division I matchup, the tail of the tape, the final game of Championship Sunday, as it's going to be the number 1 ranked, the defending champs, the Dallas Wheelchair Mavericks, facing off against the number 2 ranked Wausau Market Eagles. Division III champions are your Outlaws.
That's going to be about it. These next 2 games are both going to be good battles. Really looking forward to it. We'll see you here in a few minutes.
We'll get ready for it. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get ready for Division II basketball.
Today we're at Performax here with Matt Bullock. Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, how you were injured, how long ago, and how adaptive sports has, kind of helped you in your rehabilitation?
I got hurt lifting weights in college at Ottawa. I was doing step-ups and 315 pounds and stepping up on a box, and it just slipped one day, came down on my butt, and actually pinched my spinal cord at T11, T12. And I thought that was the end, honestly. If it wasn't for basketball, I wouldn't be in the adaptive sports world. Meeting all the people that not only play basketball, but do other things has led me to countless adventures around here. When I was at Mizzou, I played basketball, obviously, but I needed a capstone internship to graduate. My capstone internship was out in Utah. Out there, I learned how to wakeboard. I did mountain biking, rock climbing, rode cycles. In town, played sled hockey, and that just kind of blew up my world in a way that was good. I just thought it was only basketball, honestly, and tennis. But once I found those things, it was love at first sight. I came back, met up with Midwest Adaptive Sports. That's who I work for now.
And they're located in Kansas City.
Yeah, they're located in Kansas City. All of our teams are managed by a director. So, I'm the director of basketball. We do everything we did out in Utah, except for, no mountain biking. On top of mountains, it's, cut trails and forests and stuff like that. But it's fun. You and I, we grew up playing sports before we were hurt or injured. And that's something that kids with disabilities who are born with it, don't have a choice. It's a need. It's definitely a need.
So we're excited to work with you and see if we can keep meeting the needs of your program as it evolves and grows over time.
Definitely. No, thank you guys so much for what you guys have done in the past and in the future, too.